Why are you always so quiet? That's a question you've probably heard too many times before. People always come up to you asking why you never speak. Some poking at your boundaries for the sake of their own entertainment, taking your silence as consent to everything. Others take your lack of response as a personal insult, as if your quietness is an offense against their very being. But no matter how others act towards your silence, the undeniable truth is that people treat you differently from those who are more outgoing, more expressive, more normal, as they like to say. We grew up and were made to feel that our lack of expression was a flaw to be tolerated. Past experiences taught us that being quiet is a problem, and in the rare moments that we do decide to speak, our words are sometimes mocked or even ignored entirely. Because of that, we grow quieter, more afraid to speak up. We go through life missing out on opportunities and connections simply because of the judgment of others. And perhaps the most painful part is how quickly quiet people are labeled as flawed or bad individuals, simply for not meeting someone else's expectations of how a person should behave. And that's when we have to wonder, how do people really see quiet people? You might have some faint memories of simply minding your own business, when someone comes up to you so suddenly and tells you to stop acting so arrogant. To you, it might have come out of nowhere, but to them, they perceive your indifference as a display of disrespect. In their eyes, this is what happens. They go on about their day and see someone who seems free to talk to, which is you. They try to greet you, yet you stay quiet. At times, they try to strike up a conversation, but you give short responses. That frustrates people because now they start to believe you're too high up on your horse to waste your breath on someone beneath you. They see you as arrogant simply for ignoring them. It becomes worse when they see you relaxed, loud, and expressive with someone else, but tense up and stay quiet when it comes to interacting with them. That makes them think you have something against them, that they're not worth your trust. So they either distance themselves from you, not knowing they've created a version of you who's bad in their minds, or they make sure you feel how they feel, assuming that your behavior is about them and not you. But that's not what's actually happening beneath the surface, right? It was never our intention to hurt anyone, let alone make anyone an enemy. It's the last thing we would ever want. All we ever desired was to exist quietly without drawing attention, to keep to ourselves and find peace. Our preference to withdraw from people isn't always easy for others to understand. After all, people often assume being alone means being lonely, and in turn, a failure to fit in, making you seem like a social reject in the eyes of others. Though our reasons for living quietly may have stemmed from a simple preference over time, those same reasons become more tainted. What was once a choice for peace slowly becomes a way to protect ourselves from being hurt. We no longer stay quiet just because we want to. We do it because it feels safer. We learn that speaking can cause pain and shame, and sometimes unintentionally harm others. Maybe one time you tried speaking up in a group and ended up being shamed and embarrassed for saying something they deemed stupid. Maybe people poke fun at how you talk or sound, or maybe you ended up saying something you shouldn't had to someone. And now you'll live with that regret, knowing you couldn't take those words back, no matter how hard you try to make up for it. Whatever the reason may be, we let our silence be our self-inflicted curse so that we may never hurt or be hurt again. But it's hard. It's hard when pain still manages to find its way toward you, even when you try to avoid conflict by keeping to yourself. Because what was supposed to be our shield, our protection, becomes an entirely new cause of mockery and pain. They see the silence and everything it entails for them, and they see it as bad. Yet, they don't see how much effort it takes to keep yourself restrained. How much you wish you could engage with people without it feeling like you're bleeding your throat dry. How it feels tiptoeing around what you say, fearing you would say the wrong thing. How it feels like people really never see you as a person, and what goes behind that expressionless face. To you, your silence says more than words ever could. And you're tired of people not being able to see through it. And now, that's when you have to wonder, is our silence even a choice at this point? Or do we shrink ourselves because of fear? There are those who choose solitude more often than they talk. These are what people call introverts. Yet, what people often assume is that every quiet person is an introvert. For introverts, occasional withdrawal was a choice they made. For you, that choice has long since become a habit born from fear. You tell yourself that this is what you want, that you would rather stay cooped up in your room than be with people who make you feel so shitty. But those are our wounds talking. Because we don't even have to think about whether we should stay away from others anymore. We just do it. It's become instinctive. We like to believe that we still have power over what we do. But it slowly dawns on us that we have long since lost control, and we bend to fear. But that's not a mistake. We may have convinced ourselves that we chose it even though it's hard to tell choice from fear sometimes. But there's nothing wrong with being afraid. Some people may say that it's all in your head, that there's no reason to be fearful. But they fail to see that that's exactly the point. It's in your head, and that makes everything real. It doesn't diminish what you feel just because some people think your anxiety sounds silly. We're the ones living from the pain of what we're going through. So why let anybody but ourselves invalidate our worries? They may think it's ridiculous how we tremble and shake from people simply passing by, anticipating whether they would say something bad about us or not. But some would truly never understand the weight we carry. That's why fear isn't always a bad thing, because there's a lesson you may not have learned yet, and it's that fear and choice can coexist in your favor. You may think that you're completely withdrawn from everyone, but you have people you count on, don't you? Those few people who truly know who you are, the ones you share your laughter with, the ones who know you like the back of their hand. They're the people you don't have to rehearse your words around. And maybe there aren't many of them. Maybe there's only one or two. But what I want you to know is this. You chose them. You let those people in because you saw something in them. Something that made you feel safe. That was your choice. It's not that you're defined by your reserved nature. It's that you're choosing who you want to be with. And that is a heart that has grown selective. Your real self isn't lost just because you don't act the same way with everyone. It's always been there. You just show it to people who matter. That choice may be born from fear, but if fear helps you tell the difference between those who are real and those who refuse to see you, then is it really that bad? And for some of you, maybe you don't have anyone at all, no one to share your life's moments with. But maybe, just maybe, the person who will make you feel comfortable just hasn't arrived yet. So, trust your instincts. Retreat if you need to. Just don't be afraid to choose when the time comes. Don't be afraid to be selective. Even if people think you're bad for giving what they call special treatment for other than themselves. Deep within, you know you're not doing this out of spite or malice. You're doing it for your own sake. Because selectivity isn't cruelty, it's mercy upon oneself. So, no matter what happens, just keep being you.